Allegations. I've used that word to start a few of my videos, and no matter how many times I say it, I never get fully used to doing so. If they're true, the person you looked up to did something horrible, and if they're false, someone tried to smear the innocent career of a YouTuber. I mean, if you believe being a YouTuber is a good career in the first place. For those new to my channel, when it comes to cancel culture, drama, and accusations, I'm not one to be quick to judge. This channel isn't called Just Go, it's called Just Stop. Hi there. Today we're going to be talking about Pyrocynical, a British YouTuber with over 4 million subs who's been around for quite a bit of time, which just makes it all the more surprising that now is the moment he got himself into something. And no, his crime isn't that he's British, something even more sinister if you can believe it. Furry porn. Join me today as we look into what happens when accusations, misleading evidence, and a famous YouTuber can make those on social media look worse than those accused. This all started with a Twitter user named IvoryRasmus1312, or I Love Bird, making a thread talking about Pyro. The main accusations centered around potential grooming, sending obese furry art, and having screenshots to prove everything. Of course, when a big YouTuber, and no, that's not a pun on the obese furry art, gets called out, many people flock immediately to make videos on the developing matter. At the start, there were those who agreed with the accuser, as well as a fair share of people who thought the accusations were flimsy and were unhappy to see that the accuser got so popular as to be able to go on to Tommy C's podcast to try and talk more. Over the course of this late October/early November 2020, I was checking up on the best of memes when this story caught my eye, and as I looked further into it, I interpreted many lessons that could be learned from the situation as a whole, whether or not what Ivory said was true. First, let's talk about accusations as a whole. When a bad experience with a content creator, TikToker, or Instagrammer occurs, do not be afraid to speak up about the situation when you're capable of doing so. I would suggest taking your time with such things, beginning with gathering any and all evidence that you can. This can be screenshots, or better yet video recordings of potential things you would need to show to prove a claim, as without it you're just sort of making a statement without proof. For example, one could say that Antunes is a racist bigot, but without a screenshot such as this, or even a link to prove that he said this, and it's not at all a fake account, your claim that Antunes is a racist bigot would have less weight than if you did have said evidence. But along with simply having evidence, speaking with others who have experienced something similar can be beneficial. I would recommend talking with them on if or how they went about it. Taking time to learn from their experiences will help yours in the long run. I'd also recommend seeking out others if they were potentially affected by this creator. But best remember that due to follower counts like Pyro's, most people may tell you their story, however they may keep it quiet as they might fear that the high subbed account's army will attack them forever. So in this pursuit, don't pressure others affected, as they may not want to get involved or they may not be ready to speak about their experience. At this point, after talking with friends, compiling evidence, and potentially getting at least another person on your side, it's time to write that tweet. But, and this is a big but, again, no pun intended, with my experience on Twitter, fandoms and people in general are guaranteed to defend the big sub person, and so making sure that at least some of these people are on your side will make your case more substantial. First, take time to write your tweet and have it revised by others before you post. Since you are the one making it public, take all the time you need. Also, along with making a tweet, as mentioned before, make sure to have the evidence ready. People are more inclined to listen if the screenshots you have are as little censored and cropped as possible. Being able to see the full conversation as well as the full context intact makes things easier for people to understand. Also, side note, make sure your images are in the correct order. Just please do that. Besides Twitter itself, Imgur is a good place to upload your evidence, as well as Google Drive. Also, try to make the follow-up tweet with the evidence as soon as possible, because the longer it takes you to make it, the more suspicious people are going to get. Furthermore, when preparing a main opening statement, make sure you use the correct terminology and know for a fact what exactly it is you're claiming. Looking at Ivory's tweet, the first main claim is that Pyro groomed them at age 15. Now, that is a heavy word. A word heavier than Pyro's fan art. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. So, when using that word, make sure it applies to your situation. For example, Cosmodor, based on his actions, is a groomer. He spent time subjecting minors to sexual content in order to eventually be with them. As for Ivory's case, during an interview with Tommy C, there is a chance that Ivory was mistaken regarding the wording.
Do you honestly believe, and just be honest, did you not understand the definition of the word completely?
I feel like it was like forcing or like manipulating a child into a like sexual situation.
Okay. But do you think that he had plans for you down the road to prey on you in any other way? Because that's what I understand, because it's got to go from point A to point B. That's the way I understand the definition.
If these screenshots are true, we see that Pyro was sending porn to a minor, a thing I experienced with Antunes, but unlike that, we don't know for sure if Pyro knew the age of the child when they spoke, as there is no evidence that can actually be shown. Ivory also explains in the interview that it had nothing to do with their age whatsoever to begin with, and rather it was simply about the RPing and had no real sexual drive involved for the person talking.
At some point, was there any did he try to normalize these conversations? Maybe they started as jokes and normalize these conversations, but what was the goal? You have not accused Pyro up until this point of trying to get you a date, trying to get images of you or anything like that. The only thing that you've accused him of is having these extremely inappropriate conversations.
Yeah, I like personally, I have nothing I have nothing saying like he invited me to anything. Like,
Okay.
I have no proof of that, so I'm not like making that allegation.
Nevertheless, still a very inappropriate conversation, even forgetting the fact that possible Pyro said the N-word with a hard R. During all of this, and reminding me once again of the Cosmodor situation, you might be asking yourself, why didn't Ivory take this to the police? Well, like Cosmo, Pyro lives in another country not near Ivory in the slightest. And considering that it is near impossible to prove that the messages sent are Pyro's, as in the court of law, Pyro could claim he wasn't using the computer or account at the time, there isn't much that they would do anyway. Forgetting the fact that Onision is still out of jail, even knowing all that he has done, and considering there have been many cases of the police mishandling sensitive subjects, it's a sad truth that they would most likely not have taken the situation seriously. So when you see people comment under videos about Cosmo or Pyro going, why make a video and not take it to the police? It's because this is all they can do. That's why when presenting the information, you do your best, as there is a chance others are in the same situation as you and are being silenced or feeling as if they cannot speak. And when I say that, I do not mean making a TikTok video showing no evidence whatsoever. Evidence such as Ivory showing DMs from Pyro's girlfriend where she alludes to it having happened. So far, we have screenshots of Ivory talking to Pyro as confirmed somewhat by Pyro's girlfriend, though it can still be debated whether or not it's completely true. However, this is where the trail ends for now. As this is still a developing situation, there is a chance more will be found out and others speaking up will happen, which I would recommend, and if you're able to, I have my DMs open if you would like to talk, and my email is now flashing on screen. I'm always open. Thus far, there is substantial evidence that this might be Pyro, but best remember, more evidence is always better, and despite drama channels like Keemstar tweeting about the thread, not much might occur. As with situations like this, since not enough attention or new voices might come out of the woodwork, all Pyro would have to do is ignore it and keep making videos for his fans. But what of his fans, and how did they take this situation? The response from the community is interesting in itself, as an example of both what you should and shouldn't do when your favorite creator may or may not be all that you subscribe for. I saw a few tweets comparing this to what happened with Slazo mixed in with Pyro would never do this. Starting with Slazo, that YouTuber was accused of dating a minor, amongst other allegations of actual abuse, but if you want to see how that went down, I have a video about it, and Turkey Tom also has a series. TLDR, it's not similar to Slazo at all. Moving on to Pyro would never do this. What? Really? That's your whole argument. The YouTuber that makes the funny can't be awful? Tell that to Bill Cosby. He makes me laugh. And slightly. On to a less edgy joke, one of the main points the Twitter users claimed was, it can't be Pyro because that's not his Discord username. Thinking for a moment on this, people do need to realize that when social media influencers are looking for weird fetish art or other weird shit like that, they could and just might make an alt for it. The obvious reason behind it is they don't want their main account to be easily associated with the incident, as this isn't something they'd want traced back to them. Side note, please do not draw porn of YouTubers, just as a general rule. Whether you may believe it or not, unlike TV characters, these avatars are, well, are avatars and icons. They're representations of ourselves. We're real people, and when you non-consensually draw us doing things, we don't appreciate it and are usually uncomfortable or even disgusted. But also about as disgusting as if the YouTuber asked for porn of their persona. Not that I'm judging or anything. Going back to Discord, however, that means even if it can be confirmed that Pyro's old Discord doesn't have a matching ID to that of the deleted user in the screenshots, that doesn't automatically mean it can't really be them in the end. This is a case of trying to disprove one side by having little to go on besides your own judgment. This goes for those defending as well as attacking Pyro. That's what brings brings me to YouTube and the commentator's reaction to the accusations. Now, I understand everyone wants to be the first on the story. However, with that comes a lot of consequences. First and foremost is the lack of any actual new info, as most of what I saw on the platform was regurgitating what was said in the Twitter and going, man, Pyro could be bad, but he also couldn't be. And that video is like 20 minutes long. That's not really a consequence, rather just a boring video copy-pasted 200 times with bad audio quality and anime PNGs. And with you reporting on the story so early, you're going to have to make various follow-ups as you go. Now, I don't have the energy to keep at the same topic updating people with every minute detail, so I try my best to make the information I give as informative and precise as I can. God knows I have enough Antunes material to just last a generation. If in the event you want to make a quick video regarding this, it is recommended to get in contact with that person. As if this video you're watching, please subscribe if you like, was more about whether or not the allegations were true, it would be necessary for me to have the person in question in the video. As for the most part, this isn't a retrospective of events long gone, rather accusations that are still ongoing in the now and involving someone that you can still contact. Also, we're not going to get into the territory of,
can you not make a video profiting off of their misfortune?
because if that's the hill you want to die on, stop watching all news, ever. But with that side tangent out of the way, what can be learned with this situation with what we know now? In short, as the viewer, don't jump on bandwagons until you have all of the information you need, because otherwise you'll look like an idiot that either biasly claimed serious allegations weren't true or ruined a person that did nothing wrong. At that point, you'd probably never live it down, and it would be a mark on both your name and the person involved. Also, if you're planning on making a video about the subject, try to bring something new to the table. If you don't, you'll just be seen as scowling anime profile pic number 754. For the victim, make sure that you are prepared physically with evidence to prove yourself, as well as emotionally, as you have seen how Twitter reacts to these things, so be ready for an entourage of hate. I've said this before, but don't be intimidated by a large subcount if you have real evidence of wrongdoings. If your claim really holds water, people will support you and will want to be there for you. Also, remember that in cases like this, there are often more people affected, so knowing you aren't alone might be beneficial, so you have someone else there for you along the way. In conclusion, do I believe that Pyro is innocent? Well, that wasn't the point of the video. And like I said, I'm not going to give an opinion on it myself for now. In the end, this video is more about the lessons that can be learned in handling these kinds of situations in general, and the ways that many people mess up when it happens initially. Be it for the accuser as well as the viewer, as this is not the first nor last time this will happen. But for now, I suggest waiting to see if any more will unfold, because if the past few days is to set any example, there's a lot more that could be wrong or right about the allegations. For now though, I'm signing off. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the... I'm getting a little kind of sleepy again.